In a world ravaged by a post-apocalyptic catastrophe, remnants of war scarred the landscape, now overrun by monstrous, grotesquely evolved creatures and beasts. The affluent and influential resided safely within a fortified area known as the Barrier, while the less fortunate were relegated to precarious settlements outside, constantly threatened by the horrors that roamed free. Amidst this chaos and advanced, if disparate, technology, some individuals had awakened innate powers, becoming known as supers. Our story focuses on Xiao Tu, a young man hunting on a stormy night. He was consumed by worry. If he failed to secure prey, he and his younger brother, Liu Yuan, would face starvation. After a desperate, lengthy wait, a black crow finally appeared, lured by the dead mouse Xiao Tu had strategically placed. As it swooped down and sprang the trap, Xiao Tu darted from his hiding place, pan in hand. The crow, sensing danger, attempted to flee, but Xiao Tu was quicker, slamming the pan onto its legs, stunning it. He then swiftly pounced, snapping its neck. "Damn, waited all night," he muttered. But finally, a catch. With it still being early, he planned to take the crow to Old Wang's general store, hoping to trade it for a few days' worth of food. Suddenly, Xiao Tu's chronic ailment struck. A violent throb shot through his head, forcing him to his knees. "Why now?" he agonized, as these episodes usually occurred around midnight. As pain racked him, his soul seemed to drift into another dimension, a phenomenon that had plagued him since his escape from a wolf pack. Though townsfolk dismissed it as mere headaches, Xiao Tu knew it was a maelstrom within him. This time, however, was different. A grand, ornate, albeit dim palace materialized before him. Cautiously, he pushed open the main doors. Inside, a peculiar typewriter on a table caught his eye. But as he approached, another wave of pain jolted him back to reality. There, a bald young man with a menacing aura was ambushing him. Seeing Xiao Tu unconscious with the crow, the bald man grinned. "Looks like a free meal." Xiao Tu, however, quickly regained consciousness, surprised by his swift recovery. The rain was intensifying. He needed to get home. Just as he stood, the bald man, weapon raised, charged from behind, demanding the crow. Annoyed, Xiao Tu swung his pan, connecting squarely with the man's face, sending a few teeth flying. Leaving the man clutching his bleeding mouth and wondering how he'd become the victim, Xiao Tu started to walk away, the bald man fuming over his ruined, manly charm. But then, something strange happened. Having returned from the palace, Xiao Tu found he now possessed a system that issued his first mission: give the prey to the person beside him. What a weird mission, he thought. The person beside me, in this desolate place? The only one around was the bald man he'd just thrashed. With no other choice, Xiao Tu approached him. The bald man, terrified, nearly wet himself. Xiao Tu placed a hand on his shoulder. "You want this crow?" The bald man, though confused and scared, stammered his assent. Xiao Tu handed it over. "It's yours." The bald man, momentarily stunned, burst into tears of joy. With the mission completed, back in the ethereal palace, the typewriter clacked out a confirmation. Xiao Tu had earned a basic skill learning blueprint, allowing him to learn others' abilities. As Xiao Tu pondered this vague reward, the still sobbing bald man thanked him, calling him a good person. Instantly, Xiao Tu snatched the crow back. "Hell no, I've completed the mission. Why should I give it to you? My brother and I would starve." The bald man stood aghast, infuriated by this cruel bait and switch. Ignoring the fuming man, whom another onlooker warned was not right in the head, Xiao Tu carried the crow to Old Wang's general store. He slapped it on the counter. "How much?" The owner, slightly intimidated, weighed it. 3.6 caddies. "Black crow, 200 taels a caddy," Old Wang began. "Feeling generous? I'll give you 600. Xiao Tu scoffed. "Too little." After some haggling, Xiao Tu offered 900, then feigned to leave for a competitor's shop. Old Wang, panicked, agreed to 900. "When did I say 900? Xiao Tu countered. 1,200, take it or leave it. Reluctantly, Old Wang agreed, but found he was 2 currency units short, having only 1,198. "Fine," Xiao Tu said, taking the money. "You can owe me the 2. He then bought a cotton-padded jacket for Liu Yuan, declining one for himself, preferring his battle-hardened sackcloth. He considered medicine for the crow-inflicted wound on his hand, but decided against it due to the cost. Reasoning infections were less common in winter. Old Wang advised him to catch future crows alive for nobles who used them in fights, as they fetched a higher price. Xiao Tu returned home to find Liu Yuan diligently studying. The boy was overjoyed to see him, but confessed his dislike for school, wishing instead to hunt alongside his brother. Xiao Tu reminded him of hunting's perils, emphasizing that school, despite its expensive tuition he himself wished he could afford, was safer. Before selling the crow, Xiao Tu had saved its innards, which he now cooked into a stew. Liu Yuan, noticing the wound on his brother's hand, grew worried, his eyes welling with tears. "That's not a small wound, big brother. Someone died from an infection just 2 days ago." Xiao Tu placed the stew on the table, his voice stern. "What are you crying for? Remember, to survive in this world we absolutely cannot shed tears. This world has no pity for them. Look around you, see what kind of people live here. If you don't eat your fill," Xiao Tu snapped, his patience wearing thin as he slapped his younger brother, "and someone breaks in during the night to kill us, where will you get the strength to fight back?" He was trying so hard to send Liu Yuan to school precisely because the boy possessed a special ability. If he just studied hard, Xiao Tu believed that in the future, Liu Yuan wouldn't have to live like him, wandering the wilderness, working from dawn till dusk just to scrape by. And so Liu Yuan resentfully ate his meal, tears mixing with his rice, after his older brother's scolding. Realizing he'd been too harsh, Xiao Tu gently stroked Liu Yuan's head. "Eat up," he said. "Eat your fill. Then try on this cotton-padded jacket I just bought for you." The boy worried that his brother had bought him a jacket, but not one for himself in such cold weather. But Xiao Tu just laughed. "Don't worry, I'm practically sweating buckets here." After they finished eating, Xiao Tu lay down on his straw bed, his mind racing over what had happened to him during his headache. Why had he seen that mysterious palace? He drifted in a daze for a while, then suddenly felt a strange shift. He had once again strayed into that enigmatic space, the palace. He walked through the gateway and reached out to touch the objects inside, realizing they weren't solid but mere illusions. "Am I imagining this?" he wondered. He approached the typewriter in the center of the palace and picked up the paper on it. It detailed the mission he had completed earlier. He noticed lettering on the keyboard, which seemed to be a motto. "Work hard for money. Skill can earn you food. Do nothing, and you get nothing. It's as simple as that." Xiao Tu pondered if it was urging him to be a good person in a society where morality was a luxury. "Don't break down now," he thought, just as he snapped back to reality. Outside, a young woman approached their hut and stepped inside. Honestly, who wears all white with hair past their rear end late at night? She looked just like a ghost. The moment she entered, Liu Yuan had a knife to her throat. Unexpectedly, the girl had a disarming charm. Liu Yuan recognized her as Sister Xiao Yu and lowered his knife. "I thought you were a thief." Xiao Yu asked why Liu Yuan wasn't asleep yet, then inquired about Xiao Tu, having heard he was injured. The boy coldly turned away. "My brother was bitten by a black crow. He's hurt." Xiao Yu looked incredibly sad and gazed at where Xiao Tu was sleeping, her eyes full of concern. But Liu Yuan stated flatly, "You're 8 years older than my brother. Are you an old buffalo trying to graze on young grass?" Hearing this, Xiao Yu, flustered, replied, "I care for you boys like my own younger brothers. That's all." She then turned to leave, telling Liu Yuan to let Xiao Tu know she had visited when he woke up. It turned out Xiao Tu hadn't been asleep. He told his younger brother not to bully Xiao Yu anymore. Her life isn't easy either. But Liu Yuan believed she wasn't clean, because a few days prior he'd seen her smoking. Cigarettes were only produced by factories within the barrier, so it was very likely she'd gotten them from some man. The boy thought his older brother was the prey she was trying to get close to. Hearing this, Xiao Tu said gently, "In this world, who is completely untainted? To survive in this world completely clean is impossible. If you don't like her, just keep your distance. Don't bully her anymore." He then sat down beside his brother and confided in him about his recent experiences, speculating that he might possess some kind of ability, though he couldn't be sure yet and needed to test it further. He recalled how people used to say that a rare few in the world possessed special powers. He hadn't believed it until he met Liu Yuan, who had the ability of luck. That day, while hunting, Liu Yuan had merely clasped his hands and wished for prey, and a black crow flying overhead had suddenly dropped dead. The only downside was that after making a wish, there would always be some minor side effect or complication the next day. As usual, the following day, Liu Yuan went to class, while Xiao Tu, unable to afford the tuition, stood outside the window, eavesdropping on the lecture. Meanwhile, his younger brother didn't seem to enjoy studying much at all. Xiao Tu, however, listened intently and seemed to have been discovered by the teacher, despite his quick retreats whenever the teacher glanced toward the window. But today, he was caught. The teacher, not a petty man, told Xiao Tu that starting that afternoon, he could come and listen to the lectures, though he couldn't enter the classroom. Xiao Tu bowed his head in gratitude. After the teacher finished his lesson and was about to eat his lunch of noodles, Xiao Tu approached and offered him a cigarette. This is to thank you, sir, for allowing me to listen without paying tuition. I wanted to show my appreciation. The teacher's eyes lit up as if he'd seen gold. He didn't refuse, immediately taking out a match and lighting it. He took a long drag and remarked, "In these chaotic times, someone like you, Xiaotu, who genuinely enjoys learning, is truly rare." He also wondered why Xiaotu was so fond of listening to lectures. Xiaotu himself wasn't sure. Perhaps there was no harm in acquiring more knowledge. Then, Xiaotu voiced a question that had been bothering him. "Sir, you said that before the cataclysm, humanity possessed many advanced scientific and technological foundations. Where have they all gone now? Did they go extinct?" The teacher replied, "During that chaotic period, the fact that humanity could even survive was a great feat. Who had the mind to research academics? There are still some, of course, but those things are in the hands of a select few." The teacher gestured towards the inside, towards what was called the barrier. Xiaotu couldn't understand why, even in such dire straits, these walls weren't torn down. Most wild beasts don't dare to actively attack humans. If everyone stayed together, even without the barrier, wolf packs wouldn't dare act rashly. Besides, if we tore down the barrier, we'd gain access to so much science and technology. Wouldn't that mean more manpower to help rebuild civilization? The teacher explained, "As long as it's dangerous outside, refugees will still have to rely on the barrier to survive. In other words, we are cheap labor. With such great benefits, how could the corporations inside let this class-dividing barrier fall? Do you understand?" The teacher then stubbed out the cigarette, saving half for later. "Let's go, Xiaotu. Class time. Don't ask about this anymore." Seeing Xiaotu's expression, he thought the young man wanted a puff, and quickly tucked the cigarette butt into his shirt. "I need to change my clothes," he said. "This one stinks of smoke. It's not good for the children to smell it." At that moment, Xiaotu suddenly received a mission from the system. The thirst for knowledge is never a bad thing. Learn and impart it to others. Huh? Is this mission telling me to become a teacher? That afternoon, Xiaotu stood by the classroom window, arousing the curiosity of the children. Today's lesson was on survival. The teacher asked, "Students, when going into the forest, what is the most important thing to bring?" He pointed to the new student, Xiaotu. Xiaotu hesitated for a moment, then replied, "If I were going into the forest, I'd bring a long stick, sir." He then corrected himself. "Ah, that's what I would say. But to answer your question, if you encounter a wolf pack in the forest, you need to quickly find a high place with a wide view, where the air is fresh, the wind is gentle, and water won't rise." The teacher nodded in approval, but Xiaotu delivered a punchline with worldly bluntness. "That's the place with the best feng shui for a grave." The teacher was struck speechless. Xiaotu reasoned that if you encountered a wolf pack in the forest, wouldn't you be dead? What else would you do but find a good burial spot? What puzzled him, however, was that even after imparting this experience, the system hadn't notified him of mission completion. Looking at the teacher's face, Xiaotu thought, perhaps the teacher is still a new mat, inexperienced in the harsh realities of life. He should try encountering a wolf pack in the wild himself. Never mind facing a whole pack of wolves, Xiaotu thought. Even against a lone wolf, the chances of survival are almost zero. Smartly choosing a beautiful and peaceful burial spot is a wise decision. After some contemplation, the teacher told Xiaotu that from now on he could sit inside the classroom to listen to lectures. In return, Xiaotu would be responsible for teaching the survival class. Hearing this, Xiaotu was both surprised and delighted. "Thank you, sir." And just like that, he had completed the mission of imparting knowledge. The reward, his strength increased by 1 point. He felt a subtle change in his muscles throughout his body. He genuinely felt stronger. He guessed then that the palace wasn't his imagination. He truly possessed a special ability. Assuming an adult man's strength was 3.0, and he previously had around 2.5, if he gained 1 point, wouldn't that mean he had surpassed an ordinary adult? A smile spread across Xiaotu's face inwardly. "Excellent. This will increase my chances of survival in the wilderness." On the way back, his younger brother, Liu Yuan, approached Xiaotu and asked, "Do you think the teacher wants to choose you as his successor?" Xiaotu thought this was unlikely. He figured the teacher probably just wanted more cigarettes. "Besides," he added, "teaching in his place is also good. When I officially become a teacher, I'll hand the position over to you. After all, the wilderness is where I belong." Liu Yuan didn't seem too keen on this idea. It was that familiar feeling again. Xiaotu always wanted to give him anything good he had. As the two brothers chatted on their way home, they suddenly encountered a group of people dressed like soldiers, carrying firearms, and heading in the opposite direction. From the words of a young man among them, Xiaotu realized these were mercenaries. They were looking for Old Wang, asking if there was a guide available. This band of mercenaries came from inside the barrier and clearly lacked real combat experience. To enter the treacherous mountains with such a casual attitude was practically a death wish. Xiao Tu turned and saw that the last person in the group was a young woman. She gave him the distinct impression of a wild beast. Liu Yuan, ever astute, wondered if old Wang would recommend his older brother as a guide. After all, no one in town was as familiar with the wilderness as him. But Xiao Tu believed the mountains were extremely dangerous. Without proper preparation and a vigilant mindset, going in there was courting death. "Whoever wants the job can have it," he declared. "I'm not taking it." He told Liu Yuan, "These people are a bit strange. Stay away from them." That night, as the two were preparing to sleep, footsteps approached. It was the mercenaries, along with old Wang from the general store. He was telling them how someone named Ren Xiaosu, Xiao Tu's full name, had indeed escaped the encirclement of a wolf pack. They were quite surprised. Xiao Tu and Liu Yuan, realizing they had visitors, peeked out through a crack in the door. They saw that old Wang had also told the mercenaries that Xiao Tu had some mental issues. The whole group had arrived at Xiao Tu's house, and old Wang called out loudly for him. Meanwhile, Liu Yuan, still unaware of the plan, wondered how to refuse. It seemed the protagonist had already devised a strategy. He told his younger brother to stay inside while he went out to deal with them. Xiao Tu stepped outside and immediately rushed towards old Wang, babbling nonsensically. "Congratulations, shopkeeper Wang. May your son be healthy and strong. 6 pounds, 6 ounces. He'll surely have a big, future." The mercenaries and old Wang were utterly baffled. The leader of the mercenary group was furious. "What is this nonsense?" he yelled, turning to scold old Wang. "Are you trying to trick us? This guy is clearly insane. How can he be a hunter?" With that, the group turned and left, ignoring old Wang's attempts to explain that although Xiao Tu had some mental quirks, he wasn't this kind of crazy. Xiao Tu continued his charade, feigning indifference, as old Wang tearfully ran after the mercenaries, trying to reason with them. The mercenaries wouldn't listen and told him he had until dawn to find a suitable guide. "And you'd better not make fools of us." The mysterious young woman at the rear of their group kept glancing back towards Xiao Tu, and he felt an elusive aura about her. As he watched her, his system suddenly announced, "Learn a random skill from the target. Skill firearm mastery extracted. Confirm learning." Of course, Xiao Tu wouldn't refuse such a golden opportunity. Learn it, why not? And so, Xiao Tu was transported to that mysterious palace space. The skill was being copied, flowing around him in a mystical way. Xiao Tu saw that these were all techniques related to firearms. So I really can learn other people's skills? The copy was successful. Advanced firearm mastery. He wondered, didn't I only have a basic skill learning blueprint? How could I achieve advanced firearm mastery? It turned out that skill learning blueprints were divided into 2 types. Basic blueprints could learn random skills up to the advanced level. Master blueprints could learn the target's highest level techniques at the Grandmaster rank. Furthermore, there was a chance to learn the target's supernatural abilities. He thought, learning someone else's supernatural abilities? Wouldn't that make me invincible? The king of the world. He checked the girl's firearm mastery level. Perfect. He was astonished. That girl possessed perfect level firearm mastery. But why would someone so powerful be in that mercenary squad? Indeed, there's something fishy about this group. Suddenly, his younger brother called out, "Why are you staring at her butt like that?" Just then, their neighbor, Sister Xiao Yu, appeared. Xiao Tu was surprised. "Sister, why are you here?" The young woman gently brushed her hair back. "I hope we can be like before, the 3 of us together. So from now on, I'll move here and be your neighbor." Hearing this, Liu Yuan's mischievous mind immediately conjured up some suggestive thoughts, and he whispered to Xiao Tu, "You're still a virgin, right? Sister Xiao Yu is really going all out, huh? Her old house was made of brick, yet she's abandoning it to live here with us." Xiao Tu immediately gave his younger brother a smack. "You're so young, yet you have such dirty thoughts." He then led the boy inside, telling him to talk properly, though in reality it was to escape their alluring neighbor. Once inside, Xiao Tu told Liu Yuan, "Talk less, our situation isn't stable yet, and don't tease Sister Xiao Yu anymore." Suddenly, the 2 brothers were startled to find 2 potatoes and a bottle of medicine under a chair. Picking it up, they saw it was anti-inflammatory medicine. "But where did these come from?" Xiao Tu asked. "Liu Yuan, do you remember last year when we were injured by the wolf pack? Someone secretly gave us a few pills. That's how we survived. The place where the medicine was left that time is exactly the same as today. Actually, I've always been looking for that kind, mysterious person." Liu Yuan wondered, could it be Sister Xiao Yu? I haven't told anyone else about your injury this time except her. Xiao Tu pondered this for a moment. Suddenly, angry shouts erupted outside. A man was yelling at their neighbor, Sister Xiao Yu, and she had run to their place to hide. Although she said she wouldn't do that kind of work anymore, the man sneered, "If you don't do it, what will you eat? Who will give you drugs to smoke?" Hearing this, Xiao Tu's expression changed, and he gripped his dagger. Outside, the lecherous man, unable to drag Xiao Yu back, resorted to despicable tactics, tearing her clothes and exposing her ample bosom. His face was filled with lust as he ignored her screams. At that moment, Xiao Tu rushed out, and coincidentally, he received a new mission: provide assistance. Even if no mission had appeared, Xiao Tu was determined to kill this lecherous foreman today. His eyes transformed into those of an assassin as he lunged, bone knife in hand. Seeing this, the foreman sneered, thinking this brat was trying to cut him with a mere bone knife. He drew a large, much more impressive-looking steel machete. But before he could even finish showing off his superior weapon, Xiao Tu rushed forward and shattered his machete in two. The foreman was stunned. Xiao Tu, still in a frenzy, punched him in the ribs with one hand, while his other hand shot out behind him, delivering a powerful blow to the face. He then locked the man's arm, forcing him to the ground. The brutal takedown left the foreman severely injured, his head bleeding. He was furious, but couldn't comprehend how this young kid possessed such immense strength. Xiao Tu, seeing his neighbor still cowering and clutching her torn clothes, asked who the man was. She explained he was a foreman from the coal mine over yonder. The person who had been murdered the previous night was his doing. The reason? He'd heard the victim had some savings, and he happened to be in debt from gambling, so he'd turned vicious. Hearing this, Xiao Tu quickly picked up the broken piece of the machete. From the look in his eyes, everyone knew his intent. The foreman was now terrified, with no idea how to escape. Fortunately for him, Xiao Tu's mission updated: give the opponent a way to live. But giving him a way to live didn't mean doing nothing to him. Xiao Tu immediately plunged the broken blade into the foreman's side. The man screamed in agony, his fear intensifying as Xiao Tu told him, "You have about 3 minutes left. Run to the clinic in town to get that stitched up. Maybe you'll have a chance to survive." The man, gritting his teeth against the pain, scrambled away. Xiao Tu had now completed 2 missions and received 2 basic skill learning blueprints as rewards. The system, noticing his weapon had broken, specially unlocked a side mission function. His younger brother, seeing him let the lecher go, questioned it. He's not a good person. What if he recovers and comes back for revenge? But Xiao Tu had already considered that. How could the clinic in this town possibly save him? Liu Yuan felt somewhat reassured. Xiao Tu picked up his broken bone knife and looked at his still trembling neighbor. "Was it because of those cigarettes?" he asked. She flinched slightly and nodded. He guessed they must have been laced with opium poppies. "Even if old Wang says the ratio is low, I hope you stay away from it," he said, then impressively slammed the broken blade into the ground for emphasis. He did look quite imposing, but the cool demeanor lasted only a few seconds. He ruffled his hair and told Sister Xiao Yu, "Although I'm very talented and exceedingly handsome, if I were born in modern times, Big Bang probably wouldn't have 5 members. But 6, what's between us is impossible. After all, you're 8 years older than me." Hearing this, his neighbor was utterly confused. She said she genuinely just wanted to consider them her younger brothers. The protagonist was thoroughly embarrassed. He rubbed his head, forcing a sheepish grin to cover his awkwardness, then turned to blame Liu Yuan. "It's all this troublemaking little brother's fault. He keeps putting these ideas in my head, making me delusional." Seeing the two of them, the neighbor's sadness lifted, and she smiled gently. That night, while sleeping, Xiao Tu again fell into a trance and arrived at the Dark Palace. It seemed even gloomier now, and the typewriter, as if possessed, automatically typed, its keys clattering like a Yasuo combo, spelling out, "Side mission function unlocked." He found this rather interesting. This mission seemed related to weapons. If I can really get a new weapon, that would be great, he thought. The paper stated that if he received 100 sincere thank yous, he could unlock a weapon and also use thank yous to exchange for items. Huh? What kind of weird mission is this? Collect 100 thank yous, and they have to be sincere? This is going to be tough. He had previously received a thank you from Sister Xiao Yu, unlocking weapon progress, 1 out of 100. Xiao Tu thought, what a pity. If this was about collecting 100 negative emotions, it would be much easier. I could probably gather enough negative emotions from the whole town in a blink of an eye, but thank yous are harder. Liu Yuan was studying when Xiao Tu, asleep on the bed, suddenly bolted upright. "Hey kid, thank me, quick!" His brother, startled and confused by this sudden demand, broke out in a cold sweat. "Are you possessed?" Seeing his brother hesitate, Xiao Tu smacked him on the head. "What are you afraid of? Hurry up and thank me." The boy, though resentful, couldn't do anything. Reluctantly, he said, "Thank you, Xiao Tu, for always taking care of me." And just like that, the mission progress increased by 1. He hadn't expected it to be so easy. However, the mission specified sincere thanks. The protagonist, sitting nearby, smiled disingenuously. "I didn't quite hear that. Say thank you a few more times for fun." Liu Yuan, annoyed, repeated "thank you," but the system gave no notification. Xiao Tu pointed at him. "Liu Yuan, you have to be sincere. You understand? Sincerity is what makes it work. Say it again." And so, after countless thank yous, still lacking the right spirit, the protagonist forced his brother to adjust his expression until it finally registered. That's it. This time, maintain that emotion and those exact words and tone. What a pain, this brother of mine. Liu Yuan could only cry inwardly. After a long time, Liu Yuan was exhausted, his throat raw from his brother's troublesome, leopard spot, unpredictable ability. After tormenting him all night for just a few points, Xiao Tu decided to enter the Dark Palace to see if he could exchange them for anything worthwhile. The typewriter only spat out 2 measly coins. The protagonist picked them up and examined them closely. There were some words engraved on them. Suddenly, the words, like a melody, swirled around him, saying, "Thank you, heart. Thank you for having you accompany me for a lifetime, giving me the courage to be myself." It babbled on for a while. Then suddenly, a machine appeared behind him, looking like a gashapon, capsule toy, machine. Xiao Tu approached it, unsure what this contraption was for. He noticed a slot that perfectly fit the coins he had just received. He decided to try inserting one. The machine immediately dispensed a small vial of something. But Xiao Tu thought, this can't be right. If it's medicine, it should at least have a label saying what it cures. The protagonist returned to reality, the vial in his hand. His younger brother was astonished. "Do you have magic? How did that vial suddenly appear in your hand?" The vial only had one word written on it, medicine. Could it be a panacea? He wondered. He opened the cap and dabbed it with his finger. It was black, like ink. He applied it to the swollen wound on his arm. Only after applying it did Xiao Tu think, "Oh crap, what if it's poison? I'll be a goner." But then his expression suddenly changed. He felt the pain in his arm disappear. Anti-inflammatory medicine usually takes 3 consecutive days. This stuff worked after 1 application. 1 anti-inflammatory pill cost 200, so the price of this vial must be at least a few million. He had to quickly figure out how to get more sincere thanks from others. Early the next morning, the 2 brothers went to class and encountered 2 people who immediately asked what was wrong with them. It turned out both their eyes were black and blue after a sleepless night of thank yous. "It's all because of my troublemaking older brother." Liu Yuan was about to voice his complaint, blaming Xiao Tu, but Xiao Tu quickly pinched his cheek, squeezing his mouth shut to stop him. He told the teacher, "It's nothing, sir. We just didn't sleep well." The teacher reminded him that today was his first day teaching the survival class. "Have you thought carefully about what you're going to teach?" Xiao Tu confidently replied, "I've thought it through, sir. Don't worry." Inwardly, he thought, "Today, I have to collect a whole bunch of thank yous. But how? I've got it." He addressed the class. "Students, do you know how hard a teacher's job is? You get to sit and listen, but the teacher has to stand all day, you know? Therefore, everyone should say thank you to the teacher." Wow, he even thought of something this difficult. The teacher, Zhao, sitting below, was speechless at this fake teacher's antics. Xiao Tu told the students, "So from now on, when you come to class, you don't need to say good morning, teacher. Just say thank you." But life isn't always a dream. Even though the kids said thank you, the system showed no activity. Xiao Tu thought, this isn't good. These kids are probably thanking the teacher, but there's no sincerity in their words. Well, forget it. I'll think of another way. And so Xiao Tu began to demonstrate his teaching skills. He was so passionate about teaching that he continued late into the evening without stopping. The kids were getting restless, thinking, "This guy talks so much. When is he going to let us go home?" The protagonist kept talking incessantly until a boy raised his hand and said, "Sir, if you don't let us go, it'll get dark. It's not safe in town then." And so he reluctantly had to pause his teaching passion and dismiss the children. They scattered, running home, but not before remembering to thank their teacher. Suddenly, because of this, the typewriter clattered again and more silver coins fell out. He realized that indeed, life doesn't disappoint those with good intentions. "It must be because I talked for so long, the kids were very appreciative," he mused. As the 2 brothers, the protagonist and Liu Yuan, were heading home, Liu Yuan didn't forget to tell his troublemaker older brother, "Can you please not teach overtime next time?" Xiao Tu argued that he had dedicated his life to the cause of education. What's wrong with teaching a little extra? And so the 2 brothers bickered about it again. The younger brother accused him of destroying the future generation. Suddenly, both of them saw the mercenaries up ahead. They had found a guide, old Liu, the general store owner. It was unexpected that he would agree to guide them. When old Wang saw Xiao Tu, he scolded him. "You ungrateful brat! I recommended such a good job to you, and you played dirty and refused it." Xiao Tu asked him how he knew for sure it was a good job. Old Wang said he didn't understand anything. Refugees inside the barrier are also divided into rich and poor. The poor basically can't get out, but those who can freely enter and exit the barrier are definitely wealthy. Hearing this, the protagonist thought, it seems that wall isn't just to keep outsiders out, but also to keep insiders in. It's hard for people inside the city to get out, while outsiders resort to any means, risking their lives, to get in. From what old Wang said, it seemed the mercenaries wanted to find a good guide from the settlement to take them into the city. Xiao Tu then felt a pang of regret for feigning madness earlier, missing the chance to get inside what was called the barrier. His younger brother advised him to go talk to them. "You're much stronger than old Liu." But Xiao Tu didn't want to lose face, so he told his little brother to hurry home. On their way, they met Sister Xiao Yu. She was on her way to pawn a pair of earrings. Seeing her looking a bit down, Xiao Tu approached and gave her some money, saying it was for the 3 anti-inflammatory pills. Xiao Tu had originally intended to buy medicine himself, but told her to take it. "Don't be so formal next time. If you hadn't given me medicine, I would have been long gone. Rest assured, if I have a bowl of rice in the future, you'll have a bowl of porridge. A small shared meal means great happiness." Hearing the two boys say this, the neighbor felt warmth in her heart. After walking a little further, Xiao Tu encountered a woman kneeling and begging a doctor to save her husband. She was desperately tugging at him, looking wretched, but this doctor had an unpleasant face. He despised her for being poor and refused to treat her husband. Xiao Tu and his companions, watching this, were furious. He told his younger brother, "This is reality. You must remember all of this." Just then, acid rain began to fall again. The neighbor and the Xiao Tu brothers each went back to their own homes. Liu Yuan told his older brother, "Being a doctor seems like an easy way to get thank yous. Back when that kind old doctor was still around, everyone was very grateful to him. It's just a pity." Xiao Tu knew nothing about medicine. Knowing this, Liu Yuan still teased him. Suddenly, Xiao Tu thought, even if I don't know now, I can learn. If I become a doctor, I can earn money and receive thanks from others. Isn't that killing 2 birds with 1 stone? The next afternoon, Xiao Tu went to the young doctor's house from the previous day very early. Seeing Xiao Tu, the doctor was startled. "What are you doing sitting here?" The protagonist replied, "You do your business, I'll do mine. Just ignore me." Just as the doctor turned away, despising our protagonist for having no money, Xiao Tu used a skill book to steal his skill. But the skill he received was named Deception. Huh? Hello? Of course, he wouldn't learn that. He was here to learn medicine, not how to be a scoundrel. This self-study skill book is also a troublemaker, Xiao Tu thought. This guy is truly detestable. He's deceived people so much, it's become a skill. The doctor, looking at Xiao Tu and then glancing out the door, was very annoyed. He suddenly remembered why Xiao Tu looked familiar. Isn't he that notoriously ruthless brat from town? But he hadn't done anything to Xiao Tu. Xiao Tu, still outside, was checking the system, wondering what level this doctor's medical skill was. The system informed him that the opponent had no medical skill. Huh? Hello? If you have no medical skills, what kind of damn doctor are you? A con artist? Furious, he threw his pan, whack, at the doctor's head. This damn dog has been deceiving people all along. The doctor, with a bump on his head, cried in pain. Who have I ever deceived? I'm famous for being a handsome doctor who saves lives. Xiao Tu picked up his pan and left. He thought, looks like I need to rethink this. If I can't learn medical skills, how can I be a doctor? He suddenly looked at his wound. It was almost healed. An idea sparked in his head. I can open a clinic specializing in knife wounds. He returned home to find his neighbor, Sister Xiao Yu, gently sitting in his house. She said she saw that both boys' clothes were torn, so she was mending them. Liu Yuan was even holding a bowl of porridge she had cooked. Xiao Tu immediately pounced on his younger brother. Have you thanked Sister Xiao Yu yet? What a troublemaking little brother. Still hasn't thanked her. He had to spank his little brother to make him thank her. The neighbor gently said, Xiao Tu, don't bully your brother like that all the time. She ladled porridge into bowls and said, Eat up, both of you. You're growing boys. You need to eat a lot. Xiao Tu felt that no one had ever said things like growing boys to him and his brother before. Seeing the boy staring blankly, the neighbor had to call him and hand him a bowl of porridge. Xiao Tu blew on it and slurped it down noisily. He didn't forget to praise the neighbor's excellent sewing skills. Sister, when the knife wound clinic opens, come and help us. Okay? That night, as Xiao Tu was lying down, preparing to sleep, He visited the palace to check his harvest from the past few days. Yesterday, he had used 1 coin to exchange for the black medicine. Now, he still had 3 coins. 1 coin for 1 vial of medicine. 1 vial, I think, can treat 3 people. They'll definitely thank me afterward. This way, it's a 1 for 3 exchange. Never at a loss. The more black medicine I exchange, the more thanks I'll receive. Who knows, I might unlock a weapon very soon. Then he went back to sleep. The next morning, Xiao Tu went out. Xiao Yu and his younger brother didn't forget to tell him to be careful. He thought, people often say, to shoot a bird, aim for the leader. Tall trees catch strong winds. If you have money, hide it. This means people shouldn't carelessly show off. He had gone outside to where laborers were breaking rocks. He was there to cut grass. This was just a cover. Even though he already had medicine, to avoid suspicion, he had to cut some weeds to disguise them as medicinal herbs. Some uncles, curious to see him cutting grass, prompted Xiao Tu to approach and whisper to them, "This isn't ordinary grass. It's a medicinal herb. By adjusting the proportions, it can be brewed into a wound-healing concoction." "Otherwise, how do you think my previous wounds healed?"